Everyone. My name is Vicki Lowry, and I'm the Program Director for Vision Loss Alliance of New Jersey. And with me this evening is Elsa Zavoda, our Senior Vice President of Programs.
Good evening, everyone.
Thank you for joining us. And just a reminder, this program is being recorded. We ask that you please mute yourselves, and after a few moments of quiet, we will begin. Welcome to Arise, Achieve Resilience, Inspiration, and Self-Empowerment, a speaker series presented by Vision Loss Alliance of New Jersey. Before I introduce our guest for this evening, I would like to share his bio. Tyler Cashman is from Old Wick, New Jersey, and is a senior at the University of Richmond. He will be graduating with a BS in Business Administration with a concentration in marketing. Tyler is a member of Lambda Chi Alpha fraternity, where he served as the mental health chair for 3 years. He is also the vice president of the Diabetes Club and Interfraternity Council. Tyler is the director of fundraising for the Pediatric Pain Warrior Program through the U.S. Pain Foundation. Tyler began losing his sight at the age of 12. Despite the challenges that came along with vision loss, Tyler has not let it define him or slow him down. His perseverance has inspired many through his advocacy work for individuals who live with a disability. His story is a testament to resilience, showing that vision is more about determination and less about sight. Before we move on to tonight's amazing adventure, let us review the Zoom protocol. Our guest will cue you when it's time for questions, and at that time, we ask that you use the raise your hand feature. For those of you who dialed in, the raise your hand feature is *9. *6 will mute and unmute you, giving you the opportunity to ask your question. Using a computer, Alt-Y to raise your hand. Alt-A is the mute and unmute command. If you are using a Mac, use the Option +Y, the keyboard shortcut to raise or lower your hand, and Alt+A to mute and unmute yourself. Using the Zoom app on the iPad, move to the top right, select the More option, and flick down to the Raise Your Hand. On the iPhone, this feature is located at the bottom of the screen on the right side. And now I'd like to introduce Tyler Cashman.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tyler, and I'm going to share my screen real quick. Well, I hope everyone's doing well tonight. I made a little presentation just to help me figure out what I want to talk to you guys about and keep me in line. So it's my story. Just a little bit of background about me before I jump into everything. The important stuff, like my favorite animal is the polar bear. I root for the Steelers in football, the Penguins in hockey, and the Pittsburgh Pirates in baseball. So I bleed black and gold and diehard Pittsburgh fan. I play golf, and down at the bottom corner is a picture of me and my grandpa at one of our most recent tournaments. Like it was said, I'm a senior at the University of Richmond. And on the right is a picture of my dog, Malky. That's the big Bernese Mountain Dog, and my grandparents' dog, Archie. They're both really big impacts on me because I like dogs. So now to get started, the beginning. From Tewksbury, New Jersey, which is pretty much in the middle of nowhere. If any of you know where that is, I'd be pretty shocked. But that's where I grew up, and I attended Old Turnpike Middle School, where we were the Tigers, and that's our logo in the middle. But that's where my vision loss journey started. It was in this 5th grade, and I went to the school nurse to get my school checkup for my vision and my hearing. And what I had always done is I would listen to what letters the kid said in front of me, and then I would just repeat those letters to the nurse, and I tricked her for until the 5th grade. And then for my exam, she switched out the sheets, and I couldn't see that. And that's when I found out I had a vision impairment, when I couldn't see the big E at the top. So then I went to the doctors for the first time, and I got glasses. And then since then, my vision has gotten worse, but that's how we found it. Also in middle school, I played baseball, which was a huge part for me growing up, playing baseball. But then after the 8th grade, when I was about to go to high school, the doctors told me my vision had gotten too bad, where I could no longer play baseball. And it was just truly devastating to me because I loved baseball. I loved playing it. I loved watching it. But it wasn't safe for me to play anymore. So that summer going into high school, it was pretty tough for me. I was in a pretty low place. I was struggling, not being able to play sports with my friends and not being part of just like the team aspect that you get when you play a sport. So then about halfway through the summer, I'm talking with my grandpa and we're just talking through just life and sports. And he had always played golf. I had always thought golf was super boring and not for me, and I would never like it. But that summer, we found out that I could play golf without being able to see. My grandpa and I, we worked through it, and that summer we figured out that if he stands behind me and watches my ball and aims me where I want my ball to go, that I would be able to play this sport. So then we get to high school. In high school, I went to Voorhees High School. Um, and the only thing I wanted to do in high school was play a sport. So freshman year, I worked with my grandpa that summer. And then freshman year, I go out for the team and I make the varsity or the JV team, excuse me. Um, and then from there, I kept playing. And then all through high school, I played on the high school team. So it was me versus sighted people. And I played with a caddy behind me who spotted for me and told me where my balls were. And then from there, it just kept growing. But then high school also brought more challenges for me. In my freshman year of high school, I had a biology teacher who would not give me any accommodations, even though I had an IEP. They refused to give it to me because I was a B+ student. So they didn't think that the accommodations that I would need, they didn't think I needed accommodations because I was a B+ student. So we ended up having to sue the high school to give me these accommodations so I could do the best that I could because I was still struggling with the small print and not being able to sit in the front and not getting all the notes I needed. So then we had to eventually take them to court, and the judge said this was the easiest case I've ever seen. Um, give the kid his accommodations pretty much, and then the lady in charge of the disability office at my high school resigned the next day. So it was unfortunately it had to get there, but it ended out okay. And then my senior year of high school, I ended up being the captain of the high school golf team, and leading the team to what's our county. We won that year for our county, our golf team. So that was super cool. And playing against the sighted players really just gave me an opportunity to share my story, because it had to be approved that I played with a spotter. So it was a really cool opportunity for me to share with other people that even though you have a disability, you can still push through it. And there are ways to do things. So it was a really great opportunity for me. And then after high school, where I am now, I went to college. So the college application process, being a disabled student, is a lot different than if you didn't have a disability. So you can't actually talk to the disability office at any of the schools you apply to before you get into this school. So I had to apply to like a bunch of schools because I didn't know which school could fit my accommodations, and it had a visually impaired person before. And luckily Richmond was that school. Once I got in, I talked to the disability office and they had visually impaired students. And it was, and we worked with them and they've been just fantastic in all 4 years that I've been here. They've gone above and beyond providing me with bigger print, extra testing time, and just all the accommodations I need. The other thing I did when I got to college, which didn't make my mom super happy, was join a fraternity. But this was probably the best decision I've ever made. going in as a freshman and rushing a fraternity with a disability, I was very nervous. I didn't know how the guys were going to treat me. I didn't know if I was going to be singled out or like treated differently because of my disability, but that just wasn't true at all. I would go out and hang out with the guys and the brothers, and I mean I just like they just latched on to me. I latched on to them, and it's been fantastic ever since. They've always had my back no matter what. Um, if I need a ride somewhere, if I need notes, if I need this or that, they're always there for me. So that's been the best decision that I've ever made. Also in college, I've made some just remarkable friends, and they've really helped me through different things with my disability and helping me just be the best version of myself that I can be. Um, so like I said before, I played golf, but I didn't mention that now I play visually impaired golf. So yes, there's a whole association called the United States Blind Golf Association that hosts different tournaments for visually impaired players at every level, and they have three different vision categories to make it fair for everybody. They have B1, which is completely blind, B2, which is what I am, which is like completely blind to uh, I think it's 20 over, I want to say 800, but I could be wrong. And then B3, which is they have more vision than all of us. I'm not sure about the exact numbers, but so yeah, so I started playing that my freshman year of high school or college, sorry. My grandpa is my caddy. He's in the picture with me there. He's always been my spotter for any tournament other than high school because they wouldn't let him because he wasn't school approved. So I used a teacher, but it was fine. But for all, so now I go to a bunch of different tournaments all over the world. Actually, right now I'm the reigning B2 champion of the United States, South Africa, and Canada. So, and so when not one cool, really cool story was last year I got to go to South Africa through this and play in the World Championship of visually impaired golf, where I placed second. And that was just an incredible opportunity to go, and you meet just so many people that I would have never have known before. I had never known anybody with a visual impairment before I went to this. So it's been a great opportunity for me. I've gotten to do some amazing things, and I've gotten to do it with my grandpa, which has just been so special for me because how I like to look at it is if I didn't have this visual impairment, I wouldn't get to have this same relationship with my grandpa. And that's something really special for me. So because of that, every day I wake up and I'm almost grateful for my disability because I get to share these amazing moments with him when if I didn't have it, I would never have gotten to be able to do that. Some of the other things that golf has allowed me to do is I've now played in the past two US Adaptive Opens, which the USGA puts on, and that's the United States Golf Association. So last year it was in Pinehurst, and I placed second in the visually impaired category. And then this summer I got invited back again, and I once again placed second. But it was just such an amazing opportunity, and I'm so glad I was able to do it. And then lastly, at the beginning of this year, I was actually sponsored by Mizuno, which is a pretty big golf company. Um, they picked me up as part of their adaptive team, so pretty much they give me gear, and they've just been super fantastic, and they're really just trying to grow the game and show people that these like whatever disability you have, you shouldn't let it hold you back, and you should go and keep doing the things that you want to do. And that's what golf has really been able to let me do. So uh now I'd like to open it up for questions if anybody has any.
Tyler, thank you. I mean, this was really an inspiration hearing, how you overcame the challenges that you were faced with. This is Vicky, by the way, sorry. So thank you for sharing with us. Does anybody have questions or comments for Tyler?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Cliff.
It's probably a very obvious question. Um, I have pretty much just low vision, and some of the challenges that I have to myself are unique unto myself, and it totally blows my mind. How does one begin to play golf, or how is it adapted or adapted for someone with your degree of disability
Yeah,
or impairment?
yeah. So, thank you, Cliff. One thing I probably should have mentioned, I'm very sorry that I didn't, but I have about 5% vision in my left eye and less than 20 in my right. I probably should have said that in my intro. I'm sorry. But so it's a lot easier than it sounds, to be honest. Um, so pretty much what I do is I've worked with my grandpa, who's my caddy and spotter, and really what it takes is a lot of trust. You have to be able to trust the person behind you that that like they're lining you up in the right spot and they have your club set up perfectly behind the ball and that they know what your swing is going to do. And so it's really just a big trust aspect. And then other than that, it's just my grandpa standing behind. Like that's what I do. All the golfers have a different like technique that them and their caddy work out. It's really just whatever you're comfortable with. But at the end of the day, they just have to figure out a way that they can line you up so you're at the target, and then like my grandpa, he puts my club down so my ball is in the middle of the club face, so I make contact how I'm supposed to most of the time, and then I make the swing, and he watches where it goes, and I can sort of feel which way it went, and then we go and we repeat the process. And then for when it gets to on the green and putting, a lot of it is to do with feel. I like to walk off my like where my ball is to the hole, so because I don't have great depth perception. So if I'm more than 3 feet away from the pin, like the flag stick, I'm not going to be able to see it. So I walk it off, and then my grandpa and I talk about what we feel and what he sees, and I say, "Oh, I think it's going to break 3 inches right," and he says, "I think it's 5," and then we compromise at 4. And so it's really it's all about trust. Because if you have someone that you can't trust and that's who's caddying for you, then it's so much harder because then you try and do it yourself and that never works. So yeah.
And to me, that just exemplifies that old expression, teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes, it does. Yes, it
Right.
does.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Oh, Yolanda, just 1 second, because we just have a couple people with their hands raised, so I just
Oh, I'm
want,
sorry.
it's okay. You'll be up next on the list, okay? So Vincent, can you hear us? You're still muted. Just give him 1 second. Okay, well,
I sent a request for you to unmute. Maybe we can move on to the next one, Vicky, while he
Yeah.
works on unmuting.
yeah, Elisha,
Hi, can you guys hear me?
yes.
Okay. I have two questions. I wanted to know how far you were going to go in your golf career, that it sounds like you're doing, and what you plan on doing with your degree. Like, what's your future plans?
Oof. Those are two really good questions. Um, so this summer, actually, I had an internship with the Golf Association of Philadelphia, and I worked on their adaptive program. And because a lot of the golf associations around the US are starting to get into adaptive golf more, and they're making adaptive golf programs and hosting clinics and tournaments and all that kind of stuff. So I got to do that this summer, and I got to meet a lot of amazing people, and I still got to play golf. So right now, my ideal job is to hopefully get find a golf agency that wants an adaptive program and will let me help them make it. And I'm hoping that because it kind of combines like my love for golf and then my business degree and mashing them together. And then I'm still growing adaptive golf, which is what I ultimately want to do to get more people involved. So that's the goal right now. And I'm hoping that it all works out and I can keep growing the sport.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, Vincent?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, we
Yeah.
can.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. First of all, it's like, congratulations is not the word. I mean, admiration, and people that are driven, especially young people. I also, had tremendous love for sports. I love baseball, and I wasn't really able to play past a certain time because of my. At that time I still had sight, but I was extremely myopic. And when I was growing up, they didn't believe in giving you the necessary the lenses as strong as one really needed. And I went to school in Mexico, and I really didn't need know anything about accommodations. And part of my problem was that even sitting in front of the class, the very first seat, I couldn't see the blackboard. So I had to actually, I wanted to study architecture, and I had to switch that to a major in English. And I love golf. I have a back problem, so I stopped playing some time ago. But your story and the relationship with you and your grandfather, I mean it's I mean that's what family is. I mean it really brings tears to my eyes just to think about how close some people are within their families and the support that they give one another and what it does to nurture the spirit. So and then the combination, I mean, you have everything lined up really well. I mean, a business degree and looking for an opportunity in a field that will definitely continue to grow is amazing. And taking advantage of the opportunity that this has presented you. I guess like you said, you didn't think that golf was going to be an interesting game at all. It was a boring game. But now, where it has taken you to all these different places and to meet all these different people, to enrich your life and enrich your mind and make you want to do, to grow not only the sport, not only your interest, but also the interest of others. So thank you very much, and the best of luck always.
Thank you very much. Those are very kind words. I kind of don't even know what to say. That have kind of made me a little teary-eyed. But thank you so much for everything you say, and like it's all true. Just the opportunities I've gotten through this disability. It's just I wouldn't give it up for the world.
That's great. And Yolanda, you had a question?
Yes, someone asked a question or made a statement just a second ago, because I was going to ask, was he going to get involved in developing other visually impaired persons with with the golf like in being an instructor or something of that sort. And he already answered that with what he's already involved in, which is bringing other people into the sport and coaching and teaching. So I got the answer.
Perfect.
I think it's great. I really do. Oh, here I have a. Are you involved in any other sports that we're using a ball of any kind?
So I used to be involved in goal ball and beep baseball. So
Okay.
beep baseball is visually impaired baseball,
Yes.
where the ball beeps and then the bases beep, but everybody's blindfolded.
Yes.
And
I've seen that. I've seen at an event where, with the baseball and the ball would beep. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah, that one is a lot of fun. It's very time consuming though. And then the other one was goal ball. That
Hmm.
one is it's about like a basketball sized
Hmm.
ball, I guess. It's like 3 pounds, but it has bells in it.
Hmm.
And there's people on each, there's like it's 3 versus 3, and there's people on each side, and you just try and roll the ball past the other team. And if you get past them and it rolls into the goal, it's a point.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So, but both are very fun sports.
Hmm.
But there's a ton of other ones out there. I know there's visually impaired soccer. Um, I'm trying to think of others off the top of my head, but I know there's definitely other sports.
Well, at least you had your grandfather there for you, right by your side, and he's still with you, with that moral support and everything else. I think it's great.
Yeah, it's definitely helped me a lot more than anything else. Just having him with me and the trust and the support I get from him, it's been the most helpful thing.
Yes, yes. Good for the two of you. And he gets a lot out of it also, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think he does. When we win, we both cry.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Any other questions or comments? Tyler, this is Vicky again. Being, self-advocating and being an advocate, speaking up for your accommodations and needs is never an easy thing for somebody. Can you offer any kind of words of encouragement or advice on how to approach that if anybody's in a situation, since, you've been very successful at doing so?
Um, yeah, I think the main thing when going and asking for accommodations is just speaking up for yourself and saying what you need. Because I think a lot of times people like go in, I've done this before when I was starting out. I'd go in and I would talk to the teacher about what I need, and they'd be like, "Oh, I don't know if I can do that." And then like I would back down. But really, you just have to go in with knowing what like you need and what you want to like. You need to go in knowing what you need to succeed, and then just talk to the teacher and work out a plan. And then if it's talking every week, to make sure that the teacher is doing what they need. And then also don't be afraid to go above the teacher and go find other help and support, because it's out like people want you to do well. People want to support you. So if like if a teacher isn't helping you, there are other resources and people out there that will go and support you.
Thank you. I think that's really important to remember too, that there are people there.
Things from ShopRite. We can go to ShopRite if you need more things.
Vincent, you have your hand raised?
Yes, I just have a couple of questions. So now the courses that you play, are there regulation, Part 72?
Yeah. So yeah, so probably the most famous course that you've known that I've played would be TPC Sawgrass.
Oh, wow.
Down in Florida. Yeah. One of the tournaments got me there, and that was the coolest course I've ever played. Um, For anybody who doesn't know, that course is played by the PGA in one of the biggest tournaments of the year. So it's a very famous course with one of the most famous holes of golf, which is hole 17. It's a par 3 surrounded by water. It's a super cool course, a super cool hole too. But yeah, all the courses we play are regulation. The lowest yardages that we play is about 5,500, give or take.
Wow.
In most of my tournaments, I'm playing about 6,000 yards.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow. So now do the visual impaired people, do they have a handicap, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we all have handicaps through the GIN system. I think I'm an 8.9 right now.
Oh,
I don't,
wow.
yeah, I don't actually remember. That could be wrong. But yeah, so we all have handicaps, and then at the tournaments, you can either choose to play gross or net. So you can either play just straight up with people and your score is your score, or you can play a version where you shoot and then they deduct your handicap off of it. So there's two different uh like uh two different styles that you can play. So it fits everybody's skill level and everybody can still have fun.
Fantastic.
I was muted. Mary Ann, you have a question? Mary Ann, I'm gonna ask you to unmute again, see if that helps. There you go.
Did it go that time?
Yep,
Okay, hi, I'm sorry.
it's okay.
Tyler, I just wanted to say that you are an amazing young man and you have so much to be proud of. And you have a grandpa, obviously, to be very proud of too. I was wondering, how do your parents feel about this, about your career and everything? Um, is this like, do they have any idea which way they would have liked to see you go, or is golf great to them? I think it's wonderful, but I'm just curious.
Yeah, well, first off, thank you for what you said at the beginning. But my parents I think they're very happy with how or I guess where I am right now.
Mhm.
Because it's kind of just been like I was doing it for fun and I got to hang out with my grandpa, and then like my mom and grandma would usually come on trips with us. But they've been all super supportive, and I really think they're happy with how I'm trying to make it go from something fun to kind of transitioning that into my job, and they all they just want me to succeed, um, and they're all just super happy for me.
Yeah, I'm so glad. They can't be anything but they have to be so proud of you. And you are such a phenomenal example, especially to the younger people who are visually impaired. You show them that, there's no ceiling. You can go as far as you want to go. And like I said, thank you so much for being such a great example and such an inspiration. It's just been a pleasure. Thank you for coming and speaking to us too.
Thank you for all those kind words and the question. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else with any other questions or comments?
Oh, Vicky, it's me, Alicia. I actually have
Hi,
another question
of course, go
for
ahead.
Tyler. Hi. This is something that I've been participating in as an aspect program, and we talk a lot about advocacy and your story. We talk about stories as well there, and your story is very inspirational, especially to everyone of all ages, but especially to the youth. But my question is, do you find with everything that you have, achieved with school and golf, do you find like outside of that, do you find that you have to still, advocate for yourself when people see that you have a visual impairment, I should say?
Yes. Sorry, I was thinking for a moment. Yes, I would say that I still advocate myself in different areas of my life. Um, I just I don't know if I'd call it advocating. Because to me it's more of I'm like educating because there's a lot of people that are out there that don't really know um how what to do with a visually impaired person and how to treat what they like not treat but how to give visually impaired people like what they need to succeed and like a lot of people have never been exposed so it's a big learning curve
Mhm.
so I like to try and take every chance I get if there's someone that doesn't really know to try and educate them on like what visually impaired people are going through. And I know it's not all the same, but we all have
Mhm.
similar things going on. So I like to try and get any chance I get to tell people like we're still people. We
Mhm.
just might not be able to see as well as you guys, but we can still do things. We can still function. We just might have to do it a little differently, but we can still go out and do it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alicia, for that. And thank you, Tyler. Anyone else? While we still have Tyler here with us?
I just want to say thank you for inspiring us to push through our own issues. That's it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Cliff. Stacy, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, my question was, he mentioned dogs in his family. Have you ever thought of getting a service animal?
Yes, I have. I actually really want a service dog. Um, I just really like dogs and I like big dogs and I know the service dogs have to be like a lab or like a German Shepherd to be a guide dog. So I have thought about it. I just haven't found the time um to go and put the time into truly training the dog and spending the time you need to form the bond with them, unfortunately because it does happen over the summer. And since I'm still in school, it's hard to do it there. And then I'd have to take too much out of the summer. So eventually, I really want one, but I just haven't found the time yet. And I'm hoping that soon I can find the time to build the bond and get a dog.
Anything else?
You mentioned that he was part of the diabetes club. Do you have it, or do you have a family member who's diabetic?
So one of my best friends at Richmond has diabetes and she started the club. So I told her I'd be the vice president when she started it because she was the president. And so just ever since then, we've been president and vice president for the past, I don't know, 2.5 years. And it's just like a lot of fun. We used to do fundraisers for the diabetes link and like some educational stuff. So yeah.
Melissa, you have your hand raised.
Hi, and thank you so much for speaking to us tonight. I wanted to know what sort of accommodations you post frequently, maybe on a weekly basis, whether it be technology or appliances or just what you find most helpful in day-to-day sort of functioning. Thank you.
You asked about accommodations, or you kind of cut out in the middle part, but I was pretty sure that's what you said, right?
Oh, well, yes, accommodations, but as well as maybe things that you use on a daily basis. So
Okay.
maybe it's the technology, maybe it's I don't I'm not sure what appliance is, or I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
function day to day. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I got it now. Thank you for
Thank you.
clarifying that. But for mainly for school, I have a computer that the New Jersey Commission for the Blind gave me, and it has Zoom text and JAWS on it. And they're together, it's Fusion, I think it's called. So the Zoom text is able to enlarge my screen to whatever magnification I want, up to like a certain spot. So it just shows me a portion of my screen. And then there's different keyboard controls that allow me to move around the screen and access everything. And then JAWS is what um, it it reads what's on the screen to me. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. So if I'm writing like a paper or something, it'll tell me what letter I'm typing on. So if I hit the wrong one, I can hear it, I'll hear it, and then I can fix it. And then after I've written it, I can highlight it all and it'll read it all to me, and I can listen back to it because it's harder for me to read it, but listening is easier. I get all my books on audio. There's a bunch of different great apps out there for audiobooks. But outside of school, mainly, I have an iPhone, and it has a magnification. I don't really know if you guys can see this on the Zoom, but it has a magnification feature. So if you like, you have to go into settings and accessibility and click it, but you triple tap the power button, and then it brings up pretty much just your camera, but it has a bar to swipe so you can zoom in on stuff. And that's probably what I actually use the most. Just to, like, if there's a menu and I'm ordering something, I can whip out my phone and I can enlarge it right there. And then it's also kind of like a subtle thing too, where it's like not like everybody notices, and so everyone's like staring at you and wondering what's going on. It's just like a nice little like, oh, I'm just taking a picture type thing. And I mean, I guess I don't really know if this counts or like what you're looking for, but I do use a white cane when I'm walking around getting the classes and that kind of stuff. It's partially for me because I do run into things, which I don't really mind, but the main reason I use it is for other people. Just so other people, like, again, it's the experience thing where they like can see it, and like they see somebody using it, and it's not like their first time when they're out in the real world and they don't really know how to act. So did that answer your question?
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Tyler. This is Vicky again. And I just want to say too, anybody with what Tyler was just saying, don't forget here at VLA, we do offer classes to learn Fusion, just what Tyler was talking about, and also the iPhone. So if you're ever interested in programs, you know, you can always speak to myself or Elsa.
I would definitely recommend those programs. I took
Thank you.
them. Sorry, they're very helpful. Because getting to know it on your own it's almost impossible. But with somebody helping you, it's a lot easier.
Well, this was great, Tyler. Thank you. Does anybody else, before we wrap up, have any last minute thoughts or comments? Well, Tyler, thank you so much. Really, truly an inspiration. And we really are grateful that you came and joined us tonight and shared your story. So,
Vicky, real quick, I just have one more slide.
of course, go ahead. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize. It's all good.
So just like one last thing to leave everyone with. First, I want to thank everyone for coming and listening to me. It's been so much fun, and I'm so glad I got to do this. But on this last slide, I just have a picture of a disc golf hole. It's like it's chain thing, and for those who don't know what disc golf is, it's the golf but with frisbees. So you throw your frisbee and then you throw it again, and you try and get in this metal contraption type thing, and it's a ton of fun. But my freshman year of college, my friend Aaron and Andrew were about to go play disc golf, and they invited me, and I said, there's no way I can play disc golf. I can't see the hole. There's a bunch of trees. I have no idea what I'm throwing at. And they said, why not? And they said, like, why not? Why can't you go out and play with us? And I didn't have an answer for them. I was just letting my disability hold me back. And they dragged me out, and I went out, and now I play a lot of disc golf with them. I'm not very good. I go and I throw it, and I hope it goes in the right direction. And then once I get close enough, they go up and they rattle the chains so I can hear where the goal is. So I just wanted to leave you guys with that. Like, why can't you go out and do it? What's holding you back? Because even though we have disabilities, and we might not be able to do things the same way as other people, there are ways to go out and do things. They just might have to be a little different, but that's okay. You're still out and you're still doing it. So yeah, thank you, everybody.
That
Thank you,
was the
Tyler.
perfect ending.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Mhm.
And really, truly, that was the perfect way to end this. Please don't forget to subscribe to our VLANJ YouTube channel so you can listen to this presentation or any of our other virtual presentations. And I hope everyone has a wonderful evening, and be well, everyone, okay?
Thank you. This is great.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Have a
thank
great
you.
night.
Have
You
a great
too.
night. Stay safe, everyone. And
Bye.
thank you,
Bye,
Tyler.
everybody.
Thank you,
Thank
Tyler.
you.
Thank you. Good
Thank
night.
you.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Goodbye, everyone.